Okay, so back in 1996, there was actually another Pokedex that was originally, it wasn't even like in the game itself, and it was actually like a Japanese manga, a Japanese comic book. There was actually a video that was actually covering this. It's already been fully translated in English, but it's all the word readings. And I've actually talked to Dr. Lava, and I've dug into some of his work, and he's actually said that they're going to be releasing it sometime later in the future. And this was like prior 2 weeks ago. So I'll find more details on this because this is something I'm very interested in. But as of right now, I don't think it's going to mention too much about like the beta Pokemon of the original 191. I think it's really just going to cover like the original 151 that was covered. But basically, this is what I know so far. So there were actually some Pokemon that, because I haven't watched this video yet, I have to, but I wanted to make this video because before I forget. There is a lot of information that has changed over time, as we've probably talked about on our side of Pokemon, like, because, you know, Dr. Lava does his own thing and I do my own thing. There is a lot of reasons to believe that Pokemon had changed a lot, but, you know, the double-edged sword here is that, you know, the most important stuff would be like the very first stuff they've done, but they're also the hardest things to find because it is the first stuff we're talking about. So it's the most critical in the Pokemon universe. So, you know, so as far as the original 151 goes, again, Bulbasaur all the way up to not Mewtwo. We have to speculate what a lot of those Pokemon might have been and a lot of the concepts that they might have changed. And it might actually prove some of the concept arts goes back as early as Gen 1, like I was saying for a long time that they actually put it in Gen 2. Like, for example, I'll share with one. I found this out a while ago, and I'm going to make a video about this, but like the original Nidorinos and all that, not Nidorino, the Nidorans, they originally were actually supposed to have, like, they were able to give birth to another baby form. Now, while the Pokemon itself isn't technically verified, so therefore, but it's been confirmed by the actual designers that yes, they did. There was this Pokemon company called Koro, I believe. It's a Japanese comic book publishing company. It's been around since 1977. Even to this day, they still do it. And they basically release mangas of like every single like different series in Japan. You know, like one of the reasons a lot of people love Asia, a lot of that variety, you know, they're really into their culture and all that. And because Pokemon's huge, you know, they at one point did stuff with Pokemon. It was right around 1996, 1997, retrospectively. I actually found this out a while ago too. When Pokemon first came out, it didn't sell like the craze hit like worldwide like as time went on, but like when it started out in Japan, it kind of started out a little bit slow, but it started making a lot of money like as the year went on, you know. So it had a slow start at first, but at the same time it made a lot of money. So it wasn't too slow. But it wasn't like the first week it came out, it sold out. It wasn't like that, but it picked up as it went on. So Satoshi Tajiri did a very good job, at least if you ask me, anyways. So this is what else I found out. So if we are to find out that some of the prototype data really is relatable, just the fact that they mention a bunch of stuff that we don't know about, then we can actually figure out like some of the other Pokemon that it can confirm that they must have had some of these Pokemon even earlier as concept designs before they had them in their final version. So like, for example, like, you know, as far as Pokemon goes, like, you know, we had reason to believe that like some of the there was probably more than 151 Pokemon originally because, you know, Pokemon was a series that kept changing at the time. They scrapped it. And I mean, and all you gotta do is go back to the past, but again, you know, you have to find this evidence first. Again, Satoshi Tajiri stated they originally started in 1989, at least, that we know of. So Pokemon Green was the very first Pokemon game that was released, and it was 1995, so again, 6-year difference. But we start to find out. And I actually found this out too. The original Pokemon Blue was not released like Bulbapedia stated. It actually was 6 weeks later than what we initially thought. And the story behind it was a little bit different too, in a way. So I'm going to have to make videos about this stuff, but I'm just naming off a few things that I remember reading about. And my golden rule for this channel is that I have to just find something that makes sense. Okay, if I can find evidence of it, boom, we got a video. And I will find as much details as I can because I like digging into this stuff. So I also want to go on record by saying that I think I might have figured something else out with the There was another Pokemon. I made a video about it. There was one of the scrap Pokemon. It was called Nidorizine or something like that. And some people say it was like no, was it Nidorion? Or I forget how to pronounce it. I forget how they spelt it in the Helix Chamber definition. But basically, it was a Pokemon that it was when not a Nidorina or a Nidoran or a Nidorina and a Nidorino. It was basically what a Nidoran male and female would evolve into with another what was it? Moonstone. Okay, so somebody was also pointing out, they said, well, that's why that there had to have been 5 Moonstones instead of the 4 that you initially were to use. So there was another Pokemon that evolved with it and again, in this case. So why did they scrap it? Well, it goes back to what I was saying about that whole Pokemon, like the Rans, male and female, could have babies. Maybe at one point the evolutionary line was completely different. Maybe they decided that, they would have a side evolution for them, but it wouldn't be the same side evolution that would evolve into, like, let's say, Nido King and Nido Queen. I mean, it's possible that they might have had different ideas at the time, but at the time, this was probably all a bunch of ideas that they were just writing down, and they were going to include all of them one way or another, but this was before, like, the cartridge limitations came into thing. Again, kind of like Kangaskhan, for example. Maybe Cubone was supposed to evolve in a Marowak, and the Marowak was supposed to evolve in a Guardia, but then, and then Kangaskhan would have been its own family, because they would have kept all their ideas. They had no reason to scrap them. But what happened was, due to cartridge limitations, they had no choice but to, at the time, they had no choice but to just say, okay, well, we're going to vote on the ones we want, and we're going to find a way to rewrite the story, and then the rest of the Pokemon just ended up getting scrapped at that point in time. And then there's even more details that we're still trying to figure out with it, let alone, like, what ideas they originally had and how it became canon between, like, the details they were jumping through and what we got in the end. It does make me wonder what really happened back in the day, because they couldn't just come out and say, well, we just changed the whole series and this is what it originally was supposed to be. That's just not how people usually do things when they write a series or something. There's usually, it's you build a project and you just go where you left off originally. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of lost history, rather. But we can go back and recreate it now that we know, and it can give us an idea, like, what to dig through. So yeah, there's a Pokedex that was released back in 1996. I'm going to go back and watch the video. There's all 3 parts. And then I'm going to make a video about it, and I'm going to talk about it in great detail. I might actually myself, I'm going to probably write down a bunch of notes for all the 151 that I can find, or whatever's in that video, and then I'll discuss it. So that way so basically and here's how it goes. They paid a translator and maybe a couple other people for something else to be able to get this information, and the information is roughly like $1,000. Like, because some of this stuff is expensive, and I get it. Used secondary markets are ridiculous. Pokemon stuff, they figure, well, it's they're holding it hostage with money, and this is stuff that nobody knows about. So that's what I hate about. I'll be honest with you. That's why I hate the used markets when it comes to selling things. Because, people think they get something and then they want, like, a stupid amount of money. Like, if anybody's going on eBay, for example, and seeing those really rare Pokemon cards, what they were selling for, and the fact they were, like, grade 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10s, and people want, like, $3 million for some of them. It's like, yeah, dude, good luck with that. Maybe somebody might buy it. I don't know, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how hyperinflation people want to, like, this one card's worth like $1 million, but like the rest of them are like nowhere close to that. You know what I mean? Just hyperinflating the currency of it. But anyways, again, I'm not selling it. I'm not trying to get rid of it. So I can't really say that, but I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. But at least in this case, though, this is kind of some lost history. So unless somebody like uploads it on the internet and gets their hands on it, which they did, thankfully, one way or another, we were able to finally. But I mean, if nobody else could translate it, I could have translated it in Japanese because I know Japanese very well. So, and I'm not Japanese, so. But it's just I figured it out over the years, and I eventually was able to get my hands on a bunch of useful information. So I was able to remember and retain all that information. So, but anyways, yeah, if I find more information about this, I'm going to write it down myself and I'm going to make more videos about it. But I can see why they're doing it on YouTube right now, because they want to make their money back through like the ad revenues and all that. So like once they get the money back for that, then they can go on like, you know, they can release the footage once they've made their money back somehow, and then they're gonna probably take that money and go invest in other things, like in the like again more like rinse and repeat rather. They're gonna go find more stuff that's rare, inaccessible, might contain a lot of information, and then they're gonna blog about it somehow. You know, like Dr. Lava does that all the time, but he hasn't. I don't know. He hasn't uploaded videos in a while, and I have checked his blog posts. He's still around, but he's just like still digging into some stuff. I imagine he's probably working on some projects right now. But that's what. But I've mostly just been like, you know, when I find something, I'll just publish it immediately. So, you know, just I don't want to leave people in the dark about this stuff. But then again, some of the stuff does take time too. You know, it is hard to come across some stuff like that, and you know, I can understand that. You know, it's hard. It really is. So we'll just keep digging for it and all that other good stuff. But we'll find you one way or another. But before I forget, if nobody else is subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, and you know, we'll continue to keep finding stuff. But basically what a lot of people need to understand, though, is that there's a lot of stuff out there on Japanese-only websites that have never been found, but they have been known in Japan, though, because, you know, Pokemon's been in Japan. So I'm just going to have to keep looking around and seeing what else I find, but you never know. Like every video game series, there's usually something else they leave out based on region differences alone. And it's something to think about, because if you're someone like me who likes to find this kind of stuff and share it with people, you never know, you might find something that, you know, no one's found before. And I want to know how much different this is compared to the Pokemon Green entries, because again, Pokemon Green was Japanese only, and even though it has been translated by fans, we have to see like how much of a difference it really is compared to like, you know, Pokemon like Red and Blue, and then you have the international versions of Red and Blue as well.